to this Tuesday morning, this filling the well, deepening, connecting with Jewish spiritual practice in challenging times. And these feel like very challenging times. The pandemic continues to constrict, to bring so much illness, even as more and more people are getting vaccinated. But we're under intense lockdown again. And I want us to be able to bring our heartbreak and our fears. And at the same time, we just celebrated Shavuot yesterday. And Orthodox and conservative communities outside of Israel celebrate Shavuot today as well. Celebrate 2 days of the festival. And this is the moment we've been building to in our daily practice as we've been counting the Omer to be ready to receive Torah. And so here we are, gathered around Mount Sinai with everything that's present, with the absolute wonder we're being invited into, the veil of hiddenness being lifted to reveal sacred presence in ways we hadn't felt before. We were distracted from or blind to. Revelation. What an incredible thing. What does this moment ask of you and ask of us collectively? The words that I just put up on the screen, Anna Avda de Kudesha Berichu. I serve the Holy One of Blessing. I want to see how we can ground ourselves in a life in relationship to the Holy One. A life of service. What does it mean to serve? Not slavery, but an offering of ourselves. So let's find some quiet. Turning inward to listen. And before sound or singing, allowing expansion in our bodies and in our mouths. Exhaling with an open and spacious mouth. Your breath just barely audible, but palpable. You can feel it move through you. See what it's like to open your mouth to yawn. Do that a few times. Noticing how the body, the whole mouth opens. Not gripped and tight in fear. When we yawn, it's very hard to hold closed and scared and tight. Our whole nervous system wants to stretch open And release. And with that same openness, lifting the small palate, can you inhale and keep it just as open as you exhale the silent, almost silent Aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the letter that represents oneness. Anna, 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 Aveda de Kodesh Abericho. Anna, 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 Aveda de Kodesh Aberich. 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 After the revelation of Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 utterances of divine presence and divine voice at Mount Sinai, it says the Israelites were so terrified and they stood merachok, from afar. They distanced themselves because of their fear. One of the key sacred opportunities of this moment is to notice our fear. And rather than trying to distance from it, to lean right into the places of being terrified, of being heartbroken at the violence of this time. To be scared of uncertainty, whatever you're bringing. And it might be numbing. And it might be a desire to just turn away. I don't want to look at it or think about it or face it. How can we find that place of just a little more expansion? Opening and widening. That Aleph. Ana avda de Kodesha berichu. I serve the divine. The divine that is present and moves through every single human being. And it's the Aleph of the very first letter of the very first commandment, the very first utterance at Mount Sinai. Anochi, Adonai, Elohecha, asher hotzeticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, mibeit avadim. I, YHVH, Yahweh, Divine One, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of constriction, out of bondage. Anochi, that begins with the letter Aleph. Expansiveness. Yah, your God. When we explore what was revealed at Mount Sinai, Naftali Tzvi Horowitz of Ropshitz, a Polish Hasidic master from the 18th century, teaches that what was revealed was the letter Aleph of Anochi. Perhaps that's all we heard. We, the whole people gathered at the foot of Mount Sinai. And not only does he pick up on this earlier teaching that it was just the Aleph that was revealed, the sound of but the profound depth that was revealed was the divine in each one of us. Rabbi Roli Matalon from Bnei Jeshurun was teaching over Shavuot. He lifted up this teaching, and I want to share in his name that the Aleph, according to Rav Naftali, is made up of two Yuds and a Vav. And that this is the letter Aleph, and it's also our two eyes and nose. that what was revealed, I see the chat. What does the chat say? Okay. People are having trouble with the connection. Is it okay now? No, not. I've got yes, thumbs up. Okay. That what was revealed at Mount Sinai was the divine presence on our faces. That what actually we were able to see, to experience, was the divine in ourselves and in each other. That wasn't obvious in this group of slaves. How could they know the sacred in themselves when they were so beaten down by oppression, by fear, by hurt, by being demeaned? And as we stood at Mount Sinai, our fundamental sacred worth was revealed to ourselves and to each other. That is everything. Not divine out there somewhere, detached, separate from us, to believe in or not believe in, or have theories or ideas or about, but to look each other face to face and see the divine. To hear about deaths in Israel, to hear about deaths in Gaza, and allow our hearts to break for the divine image destroyed. To have the sacred practice and sacred space to weep for it. Not running out to wave flags this side or that side. I'm not talking about being simplistic. There's real political work to do. There are actions to decry and others to lift up. But our starting point needs to be right here. Knowing the sacred, the divine in yourself. And that it is inseparable from the divine in every other human being. To see how we can expand rather than contract. To make our lives a life of service in that divine being and essence, in its strength and vitality. Can you find it in your breath? What does it feel like to let the divine be visible on your face? Is that radiance? Is that softness? Is that presence with everything you encounter to the best of your ability? Showing up over and over. Remembering that the strength to meet this moment isn't only dependent on you, but you are held and strengthened by the very source of being. I feel such a shift between gripping and trying to figure out, how am I supposed to do this, to meet this? This is too much. It's so hard. Versus the softening, the opening and allowing. Of sacred life moving through resilient, connected, allowing revelation in this very moment. It's a beautiful tension, deciding to show up, deciding to practice, and then let God do the rest of the work. Soften into the being held. Rabbi Roli Matalon, when I was listening to his teaching yesterday, the rabbi from B'nai Jeshurun, the way that he framed this teaching from Reb Naftali, he said that the people knew the divine presence in them, through them, with such clarity that actually they were the ones who yelled out, Anochi Adonai Elohechem. I am Adonai, your God. All of life cried out, I am Adonai, your God, Anochi. Not ego, but the clarity of the divine I on their faces, in their hearts, so palpably that it came out through them. I want to try that for just a minute. You're all on mute. Maybe we'll practice a little bit on mute, and then maybe we'll unmute for a moment. See what it's like to say, Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Anochi. Anochi. To find it. Anochi. To let it come through you, in you, mirrored on you. Anochi. Yeah, Elohechem. Anochi. Does it feel different if you tap your chest a bit? If you open your mouth wider? If you sound. Is it loud? Is it soft? Anochi. Havaya. Elohechem. Anochi. Havaya Elohechem. If you have your arms up, surrendering ego, what does that feel like? Self, not self. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Or whispered, Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Anochi Adonai. Let it ride along your spine. Let it be the foundation under your feet, the soles of your feet, alive with it. Emerging through your head, the top of your crown. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Maybe with one hand so tenderly on your face. This ever-present companion, partner. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. Right here, this response to every moment of feeling alone. Tender, powerful companionship. Expansive, embracing, rooting, rumbling, terrifying and powerful, subtle and intimate. Anochi Adonai Elohechem. May we be blessed in this time of such profound challenge and pain, as well as spring unfolding and lilac wonder and sacred revelation. May we be blessed to keep expanding. May we notice when we want to close and collapse and turn away and stand merachok, to distance ourselves from what is unfolding. May we be blessed to find the sound that is loud and shakes us awake, the softening that is quiet and meets with tenderness. May this year, this moment be a revelation that carries us forward with courage, with justice, and with love. Amen, amen.